Hi guys. Suppose you're trying to say t'aurais pu lui dire la vérité in English. How do we say that? We would say you could have told her the truth. All right. And it's true that the lui over here isn't necessarily her. It could also be him. Or if you want to be gender neutral, it could even be them. But the lesson today is not about them, him, and her. The lesson today is about this part, the aurait pu dire, which in English is could have told. Well, I didn't write that very clearly over there. That's T-O-L-D. Okay, so that's what today's lesson is about. So on this screen we have you shoulda, you coulda, and I woulda, which are the way we say these word combinations. But if we were writing them properly, we would instead say should have, could have, and would have. Okay, so this is the way it sounds when we're speaking. Okay, but when we're writing, it's written like that. Okay, so you're writing, you got to write the whole word have. Now, it's interesting because the shoulda over here, when Anglophones are writing, sometimes they make mistakes and they're going to, instead of even writing shoulda, instead of writing should have, which is more correct, they might even write something like this, should of. And you might have seen that of, it could be could have, could be would have. You might have seen this sometimes online. Technically that is wrong. Okay, so should of, no, it should be should have. Should have is the right way to do it. Okay, that's the form. So in French, you shoulda, you coulda, and I woulda give you, or give us, t'aurais, that doesn't look right, eh? T'aurais dû, and t'aurais pu, and I woulda would be j'aurais. Okay. Now, we don't just end it right there, do we? We always complete the idea. So, j'aurais dû quoi? Let's say j'aurais dû téléphoner. Or j'aurais pu demander. Let's over here, j'aurais marché à ta place, let's say. J'aurais marché. And everyone's different, eh? Now, in English, what would we get? We would get you shoulda called. Whoops, not called. I suppose it would be more téléphoné. Sorry about that. You shoulda telephoned. You coulda asked. And I woulda, let's say I woulda walked. Okay. Interesting thing to notice over here is the endings, eh? So ER over here gives us ED over here. So it's not the same as in French. French, ER, it's not ING in English. ING? No, no ING. So we're staying with ED over here. So I should have telephoned, or I should have phoned. J'aurais pu demander. There's an ER, and that becomes I could have asked. So just like telephone, asked with the ED. And j'aurais marché. Well, in French here, it's accent aigu. It's different. And in English, we still have the ED over here. Okay? So don't try to do translations from French to English. Just remember that in English, we put ED. Okay? To put that verb at the end there. It's ED. What happens when we have an irregular verb? Suppose we have something like, I don't know, j'aurais dû savoir, maybe. j'aurais dû savoir. In English, that would give us I should have. Because it's an irregular verb, got to use the irregular past participle form, known. I should have known. And there you go. And finally, if I'm trying to give some polite advice, okay, instead of just saying you should have, t'aurais dû, which is a little bit direct, we would instead say something like perhaps, right? Or a little bit less fancy, maybe. So perhaps you should have, maybe you could have. So put that in your toolbox also for being more polite when you're aiming for that. And to end our lesson, we're going to add a little bit of hot sauce. Okay. If I'd been in your shoes, I'd have said yes. Si j'avais été à ta place, j'aurais dit oui. Okay, so the if I had been, right, you know that one. If I had been, si j'avais été in your shoes at ta place, I'd have said yes. So what is this thing over here? That's the equivalent of I would have, right? So I would have said yes. This is not the way to write it, but it is the way it sounds when we're talking. So I'd have said yes. And in fact, if we're writing it, it's I would have. Okay. I hope you're going to watch this once or twice more and start trying this out when you're speaking English.